Hello people and welcome back to another video. Hope you had a good Christmas. I had quite a good one. I got this very stylish snoodie, as they call it, to keep me warm. And my son got me that. How cool is that? He's my boy, yeah. He knows what I like. Caesar, the Gallic Wars. He also got me a book for my birthday, which is pretty cool as well. That was last month. I turned 41. Jesus, getting old, but it's this one here. Irish names, Irish names and surnames, primary edition. Patrick Wolf. Wolf, that's my surname, and it's quite a rare surname. So you never know; it might be an ancestor. What's cool about this book? It shows you all the different Irish names, and you can see here, for an example, this is Old Irish. This Padraig O'Domnell. So that's Patrick O'Donnell. And you've got Mary Ní Domhnaill. That's Mary O'Donnell. And so on and so forth. But it's just cool how it shows you the Irish equivalent. So my name, Wolf, which is Irish. A lot of people didn't realise it's Irish. Is there in the names. Your name might be here. I might be able to find the Irish version. You can see whereabout is it? There it is down there. That's right here, Wolf. It's the bulb or the bull. The bull or the bulb. So, Patrick Wolf. And a couple of weeks ago, I got this book. It was actually one of my workmates was doing a clearance and found this and thought, I think this is a book Jed would like. So it's called Silences That Speak. It's from 1931, I think. It's records of Edinburgh's ancient churches and burial grounds with biographical sketches of the notables who rest there. And this is about all the graveyards that were in Edinburgh at one point that aren't there anymore, and the people who were buried there. Some famous people that there's no trace of anymore. So, for example, at St Giles in Edinburgh, there was a massive churchyard, big graveyard, not there anymore. The only post-Reformation graveyard that exists in Edinburgh now is St Cuthbert's, I think, according to the book. But anyway, I've got lots of reading to do, and I hope he's, like I said, guys, I've got lots of books to read through and research. And if you haven't, well, let me provide you with some. Anyway, guys, let's get on to what we're going to actually do today, and that's look at my ancestry. And I've got a sort of trifecta going on here right now, set up. I've got my ancestry results, which aren't very satisfying, to be honest with you. When I first done my ancestry results in 2017, it came back 97% European and 3% West Asian, and that's what I'm into. I'm into like the past. I'm into looking at it like, because we all know we're European, but there was a journey made there somewhere. Mainstream science and mainstream geneticists tell us that we all came from Africa at some point. So to be in Britain and then you got Africa, there was a journey in between. They're missing out some kind of journey. Surely my ancestors crossed other peoples and bred with other peoples to give me the makeup I've got today. But ancestry just want to tell me I'm Irish and Scottish. So it's not very satisfying. So you end up going into third-party genetic sites like Jed Match. And Jed Match was one of the first. And funnily enough, I'm called Jed and it's called Jed Match. I was getting accused that it was my site for a wee while. But there's Jed Match. And then there's other ones as well. But there's another fun one. It's called My True Ancestry. And what they do is rather than match up with contemporary people, they match up with bodies they've dug up in the past, like old mummies and caves and stuff like that, and see if you've got the same haplogroups. And your haplogroups, like your blood group, you're either most predominantly in Ireland and Scotland, it's R1b. In England, you've got R1a, R1b as well. Sort of, you can see this sort of, and when you go over to Europe, the letters change. You've got J's and I's, and So my True Ancestry is quite interesting to look at all that kind of stuff and where you connect with clans and royalty and all this kind of stuff. So it's fun to look at. It gives you a better taste of what, if you're into your ancient past and history. Ancestry is good if you just want to see if you've got any relatives kicking about today. Or is that my second cousin? Or is that Ancestry is good for that. But if you want to look at your deep past, who your ancient ancestors were, my True Ancestry, I've got to say, is no bad. And because it's Christmas time, I bought a couple of upgrades. I got up to king level because I'm doing discounts because it was Christmas and I'm a bit of a cheapskate that way. I thought, oh, I'll take advantage of this offer. It wasn't expensive. I think it was like £5 to go up the next level, and I think it was like 20 quid or something to go up to the next one. So I'm up to king level. So we're going to have a look at that, guys. So we've got to look at the ancestry.com site. We're going to look at Jed Match, and we're going to have a look at my True Ancestry. We're probably going to have a deeper look at my True Ancestry than the other two. But anyway, we'll start with ancestry.com, guys. Let's have a look. So present, share screen. Right. So, according to ancestry.com, this is my results, my ethnicity estimate. So I'm 63% Irish. And my community is Southern Ireland. We're in the Munster region. So we've got North Kerry and Cork. We've got North Kerry. You can see, guys, it sort of narrows down. Aberfale, this sort of area. West Limerick. So that's my Irish. And for my Scottish, we've got Southern Central Lowlands, which is kind of the area I'm living in. We've got Edinburgh, we've got Dunfermline, it goes right up to Dundee. It goes as far west as Glasgow and Stirling, as north as Perth and Dundee. You can see this area was the old Pictish kingdom. This area here. But like I said, it doesn't really tell you much, especially if you're as inbred as I am. It's really that's all I've got, and it's not very satisfying, to be honest with you people. So I'm 60% Irish, 40% Scottish, just say. And like I said, that to me, that's not satisfying, because surely there was a journey. Like, my ancestors never just appeared in Scotland and Ireland. There was a journey. We all know the Celts came from Europe, either up from the Iberian Peninsula or through France, through Gaul. So this is the stuff that I'm interested in. So, and this doesn't really satisfy my needs. So what you do, guys, is you can download your data from this site. There's I don't know if I can show you on the homepage. There's a part where you can download your DNA. I'm not sure exactly where it is. Anyway, you can download your DNA, get all the information, and you can put in a third-party site, which the first site I ever used, guys, was Jed Match, coincidentally enough. So I'll stop sharing this screen. So we've got the idea now for Ancestry that 40% Scottish, 60% Irish. It's practically saying I'm a full-blooded Celt, Gael, whatever it is. Right. So We'll put our information into Jed Match and we'll see what they're saying. So that's it there. Right. So on the screen now, guys, you should be able to see the welcome page. Welcome, Gerard. Just tells you your kit number, blah, blah, blah. But you go up to the free tools up here. After downloading your data, you go to the free tools and you can match up to many. This is people that are on the database as well that you might match up to. But like I say, I'm not really that interested in that stuff. I like the heritage, admixture heritage tool. So we'll go into that. So in this site, guys, you've got the project. And the MDLP and the Eurogenes is probably the best ones to go for if you're a European. The other ones, it's more leaning towards Asian, African, maybe Arab as well. And some ancient ones like Neolithic, hunter-gatherer, or European farmer. Again, we've got those ones in there too, with the ancient. I think that's a Jed Rossia one. But we'll just stick to the Eurogenes since we're Europeans. And we'll choose the option of admixture proportions with link to Oracle. Right, so put the kit number in, bash. If you can see this kit number, people, don't be afraid. You can use it if you want to have a look, play around with the site. I'm not sure if you can do that, but if you can see my number, maybe you can play with it as well. So it asks for your ethnicity. I didn't think it matters here. If you put down Moroccan, I think you're going to get the same results coming up. So I don't think it matters what you put down as your ethnicity. I think I've done it without even putting down my ethnicity. Let's see. We'll not even put my ethnicity down, so it doesn't give them a clue. Right, we'll see what we get. Calculating results. And like I said, whether you put your ethnicity down or not, you're going to get the same results because it's the same data. So, the Eurogenes K13 results are as follows. 50.32 North Atlantic, 21.28 Baltic, which is interesting. That's the next biggest chunk in my Eurogenes. And Baltics, that's over beside the Scandinavian countries and the colder parts, the Northern Europe. We've got the West Mediterranean. We've got West Asian, which is the yellow chunk. And my original Ancestry.com results actually came in as West Asian, 3% West Asian. It was 97. I was at 97% European and 3% West Asian, or 96%, something like that. But I was coming in as West Asian on Ancestry at one point, and that disappeared when they done the updates. But it's still lingering here. I've still got the West Asian, and I've got a little bit of South Asian as well, and I've got a bit of Sub-Saharan African as well. So we'll have a look at the Oracle. This kind of narrows you down to your closest populations. So obviously the admix results are here. We've got the North Atlantic, the Baltic, the West Mediterranean, the West Asian. These are the top 4 results. Anything under 10, it could be anything. But so here it says my closest population sharing, Irish. And that's without putting down my ethnicity. West Scottish is second. Southwest English, which is like down the Cornwall area, that was Celtic as well. You've got the Celtic Sea down there. And you've got Orcadian, which is Orkney Isles up top, which could be something to do with the Baltic region, again, because of the Scandinavians. Southeast English, North Dutch, Danish, and number 7, Danish. Number 8, North German. Number 9, South Dutch. Number 10, Norwegian. And the higher the number that goes, the further away. So we've got French, Austrian, East German, North Swedish, Hungarian, Spanish Cataluna, Spanish Castilla, Southwest West French. And then you've got they share populations to try and narrow down the number. So at the top here, we've got West Scottish and Abkhazian. We've got West Scottish and Georgian. We've got West Scottish and Ossetian. So the Georgian part, that's the West Asia. That's where the Caucasus mountain range is, near the Georgians. So Jed Match gives you a better idea where your ancestors come from. It's not perfect, but it's better. It's giving you more of a mix here. Look at all these different populations. Where Ancestry just says I'm Scottish and Irish, where Jed Match says I've got a bit of everything, which makes more sense. And if we all did come from somewhere in Africa or Asia or whatever, surely there was a journey. Surely we mixed with other populations, and what we are today is a mixture of everything. And this kind of ticks those boxes, satisfies those boxes a bit. So that's how you use the Jed Match. And like I said, you could use there's lots of other tools on Jed Match, but we'll just use this one today. And you can use other tools. Right, I'll stop sharing this one. And we'll share the My True Ancestry. And this part might be a bit longer, like I said, because I did upgrade to King, so they gave me more stuff to look at. When you go for the free version, you just get the basic sort of stuff. You still get a lot of information, but you don't get as much as you want. So on the home page here, we've got ancient populations. We've got different brackets with different categories here. So we've got the ancient populations first. So your closest ancient population is Celts. So my closest ancient population is a Celt. Then it's the Franks. Then it's the Celtic Parisi, who were a Celtic tribe that apparently came from Gaul. And the Parisi name, that's why Paris is called Paris, because the Parisi tribe were actually in that area in Gaul. So they reckon that the Parisi in Britain and the Parisi in Gaul are connected. They share cultural connections. We've got Celtic Britons, who apparently came up from Galatia in Spain, the Iberian Peninsula, stopped off at Amorica, which is Brittany in France, and then up to Britannia, where you have the Britons, who settled mostly the west coast of Britain. And then Danish Vikings, which Jed Match saying there's a large part of there's a large part of Danish and Baltic and all this stuff. So this is probably where that is coming up. So we've got the Danish Vikings, who, as you can see here, guys, had a large area as well, and they had a lot of Britain. It goes right up to the Lothians in Scotland on the east coast, right down through England. Misses out Wales, misses out Cornwall, but practically got the whole of England there. And if you remember history, right, guys, you've got Daneland, Danelaw. So that's my closest ancient populations. It's Celts, Franks, Celtic Parisi, Celtic Britons, and Danish Vikings, which is pretty cool. We'll have a look at the new ancient samples. So my closest archaeogenetic matches, smaller numbers mean closer matches to you. So we'll see what they're saying. Genetic distance measures how close you are to a given sample. 10 means this is your ancestry. 20 means this is part of your ancestral link. And 30 means possibly related to your ancestry. So you can see here, people, the genetic distance is 2.9. Like, this is almost certainly an ancestor, according to the site. So, number 1, Saxon grave, Lower Saxony, Hanover, Anderton, Germany. In the verdant lands of Lower Saxony, near the site of modern Hanover, Anderton, an ancient Saxon grave cradled the remains of an individual who lived around the turn of the 5th century AD. This male, long since passed into the annals of history, was discovered with genetic lineage pointing to an interesting convergence of communities and migrations in the region. His paternal ancestry was mapped to Y DNA haplogroup J2B2A1A1A1A1A1, indicative of ancient ties to the Near East or South Caucasus, revealing a fascinating tale of movement and assimilation into the Saxon world. His maternal DNA, categorized in the haplogroup H2A2A1, likewise suggests a common ancestral threads that wove through Europe. So this is where they found ancient bodies, ancient grave sites, bodies in caves, bodies in old pits. They've took their DNA, and this is who, if you've got any ties to them, this is who you're matching up with here. So number 2, we've got a Celtic Frankish grave, which is 3.7. Lower Saxony, Hanover, Anderton. We've got the Bell Beakers in England, which is 4.4. That's really close. With the Celt Hixton Iron Age, the Bishware Bronze Age, Alsace, France. But look at this, guys. We've got the Prince Andras Arpad dynasty. So Prince Andras Arpad, he was like the founder almost of the Hungarian Empire country. And I've got a genetic distance of 4.5. I'm practically linked with this guy. And I've looked a wee bit into the Arpad dynasty since I've seen this, and it's I've never heard of them. Totally ignorant to this dynasty. In the heart of Budapest, amongst ancient ruins and memories of a bygone era, the remains of a noble from the Middle Ages was unearthed, casting light upon a fragment of Hungary's illustrious past. These remains were dated to the 13th century, a turbulent period marked by the Mongol invasion of 1241, which plunged the kingdom of Hungary into chaos. The deceased was identified as Prince Anders of the Arpad dynasty, a royal line that forged the nascent Hungarian state and thus held a significant role in the shaping of Central European history. The skeletal fragments bore the genetic markers of a lineage steeped in power. The Y chromosome haplogroup R1A1A1B2A2A1, prolific among the Slavic and Scandinavian populations, hinted at the expansive connections of European nobility, while the mitochondrial DNA haplogroup T2B2B1 suggests maternal lines that threaded through the diverse tapestry of the continent. Adorning the resting place of this scion of the Arpads were artifacts that revealed both the status and the personal life of the prince. These included items of equestrian paraphernalia, signalling the importance of horsemanship in medieval nobility and the martial prowess expected of a prince. Ornaments and sumptuous goods typical of high-born individuals were interred alongside him, not merely as mere wealth, but as emblems of his earthly role and prestige. So, the Arpad dynasty. We'll have a wee look more into this Arpad dynasty. And I found a website which connects. Let's see, where is it? Right, descendant of the medieval Hungarian kings celebrated throughout Britain. Who have we got here? Oh, look who it is. It's the Queen. Did you know that Elizabeth II is a descendant of the Hungarian conqueror Arpad of the female branches? From the pagan Hungarian Prince Arpad to British Queen Elizabeth II, 39 generations follow each other through more than 1,000 years of European history. Did you know this is not fake news? And just like most European monarchs today, Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II also has the blood of the ancient Hungarian Arpad dynasty in her veins, with Arpad the Conqueror and Kings Andras I, Bela III, and Andras II among her ancestors, just like me. Just recently, Great Britain and the Commonwealth of Nations are celebrating the 70th anniversary of the Ascension. That is the Platinum Jubilee of Queen Elizabeth II of the House of Windsor, House of Saxe-Coburg and Gotha originally, whose ancestors include many different blue-blooded members of royal dynasties of Europe. So the blood of Arpad dynasty is also part of the genetic makeup of the British royal family. So I told you I was the King of Scotland. Elizabeth II is a descendant of the Hungarian conqueror Arpad of the female branches. On her family tree going back 1100 years, her lineage can be precisely traced back through subsequent generations of Hungarian, Polish, Czech, Castilian, Aragonese, French, Scottish, and English kings, queens, and princesses. As we read this long list of names of major personalities of European and world history, as well as forgotten princes and princesses, we get a glimpse of the rich and multi-layered history of our continent. From Arpad, 39 generations, counting Prince Charles and Prince William and the little Prince George, 42 generations, succeeded from the Eastern European steppe in the 9th century to the 21st century. So there we go again. We've got the West. This is probably where the West Asian in my genetics keeps coming up. This West Asian. And when originally done the Ancestry.com, it came up West Asian. So this is probably those genes, those haplogroups are probably ringing bells in the Eastern European steppe. So we'll see who's connected with this Arpad dynasty. So Arpad, the first prince of the Hungarian conquerors at the end of the 9th century. Zolta, Zolt, Taxene, Mihaly, Prince Giza's younger brother, uncle of the first king of Hungary, Stephen I. Then we have Vasul, Andras I, fourth king of Hungary, Adelheid. Her husband was King Vratislav II of Bohemia, Judith of Bohemia, Boleslaw III, Krastowski, Polish prince, Władysław Wagieni, Polish prince, Rakija of Poland, her husband was King Alfonso the 7th of Leon and Castile, Sancha of Castile, her husband was King Alonso II of Aragon, King Peter II of Aragon, his siblings was Constance of Aragon, who became the wife of King Imre of Hungary, James I of Aragon, his wife was Hungarian Princess Jolanta, Andras the second's daughter, granddaughter of Bela III, great-granddaughter of Giza II, a double Hungarian connection here. Isabella of Aragon, her husband was Philip III of France. We've got Philip IV of France, Philip the Fair, one of the most significant kings in the history of France. We've got Isabella of France, her husband was King Edward II of England. And we've seen that in Braveheart, Isabella. She was the one that whispered in Longshank's ear that her baby was Wallace's. King Edward III of England, which obviously King Edward III of England got his Arpad ancestry through Isabella of France. So this is how it's in that side. So we've got John Gaunt, Duke of Lancaster, John Beaufort, Earl of Somerset, the illegitimate son of John of Gaunt, John Beaufort, Duke of Somerset, Lady Margaret Beaufort, her husband was Edmund Tudor, King Henry the 7th of England, Margaret Tudor, King Henry the 8th sibling, King James V of Scotland, Mary Stuart, Queen of Scotland, King James I of Scotland and England, Elizabeth Stuart, her husband was Frederick V of Palatine, the Winter King, Princess Sophia, her husband was Elector Ernest Augustus of Hanover, George I of England, George II of England, Frederick, Prince of Wales, George III of England, Prince Edward, Duke of Kent, Queen Victoria, King Edward VII, King George V, King George VI, and Queen Elizabeth II. Obviously, her son Charles and their kids. So this is how far the Arpad dynasty goes. I thought it was quite a wee surprise. I'll take it with a pinch of salt. Definitely take it with a pinch of salt. But so we're back looking at my True Ancestry. So we've established that I've got some kind of connection to this Prince Andras Arpad dynasty, which if I have got a connection with this line, which it means I've got a connection to most European royal families. They all married into each other. We've got Lots of cool other genetics. We've got the Bronze Age Ancestry in Germany. We've got Celtic medieval Denmark, early medieval Sussex. We've got medieval Ireland, Kiltasheen, Roscommon. In the lush landscape of medieval Ireland, nestled within the province of Connacht, near the village of Kiltasheen in County Roscommon, yielded a remarkable discovery. Here, in the vicinity of an ancient ecclesiastical complex traditionally associated with the early Christian period, the remains of a man who walked the earth around 650 AD were unearthed, providing a window into a distant past. Presumed to have been of high status, perhaps with ecclesiastical connections, given the site's proximity to the reputed seat of a bishop. Individual carried within his bones the story of a bygone era. His remains painted a picture of his lineage. Through the sinews of time, he bore the genetic markers of his ancestors. His Y chromosome belonged to the extensive R1b, 1a, 1b, 1a1 haplogroup, a lineage dominant in Western Europe and particularly prevalent among the storied Gaels, suggesting deep roots in his verdant Irish soil. Complementing this paternal legacy, his mitochondrial DNA fell within the U5A1G haplogroup, offering clues to a maternal line that stretched back in the mists of prehistory, attesting to a rich tapestry of ancestry woven through generations. Accompanying the human narrative told by his genetic markers were the silent testimonies of artifacts discovered alongside. Objects of everyday use and personal ornamentation surfaced, mundane perhaps in their time, but to the modern eye, extraordinary carriers of historical significance. These artifacts spoke silently yet eloquently of the culture and society that shaped this man's life and death. We've got the Celtic Britain gladiator, which I'm closely connected to as well. I'm 99% closer versus other users. See here, top 99% against all other users. The Irish one, I'm 98%. With the Prince Andras Arpad dynasty, I'm 96% closer than most users. And this one here, I'm 99%. The Saxon Grave, Lower Saxony, Hanover, Germany. So very interesting. And there's lots of other ancient matches here. Medieval Ireland, Kiltasheen, another one. Iron Age, Longbredy, Dorset, England. Early Hanseatic, HGH, Lübeck, Germany. I'm 98% closer than all other users on the site. 98% closer. Iron Age, Britain, Thornholme, East Riding of Yorkshire. Pitt Graveyard. Celtic Britain, Pockling, Yorkshire, England. And Iron Age, Britain. A Celtic Britain. So the further you go down, guys, the further away genetically you become. So if I go right down here, the bottom, the last one's 60. Got 60 ancient matches here. And the last one, I'm in the top 83% match versus all users, and my genetic distance is 7.066, which compared to my 2 at the top, it's a bit further away. But you can see here there's a range how far or how closely connected you are to these people. But the Andros Arpad dynasty, pretty surprising. So that's the new ancient samples results. We'll have a look at the top 10 by era. So in the Neolithic Age, Bronze Age Anselfingen, Germany, Bell Beaker, Canada Farm, Dorset, England. So that's the earliest we can find, and that's the Bell Beakers. Rich tapestry of ancient human history on the British Isles is ever fascinating, and nowhere is more apparent than in the case of certain early Bronze Age individual discovered in Dorset, England, within the bucolic setting of Canada Farm. His remains were unearthed amidst the remnants of intriguing Bell Beaker culture that flourished across Europe from around 2800 to 1800 BC. This ancient man, who met his end in the early 3rd millennium BC, provides a window into a transformative epoch in prehistoric Britain. He belonged to a community marked by the Bell Beaker phenomenon, so named for their distinctive pottery that often accompanied burials in domestic sites. These beakers, along with other grave goods such as copper daggers, flint arrowheads, and wrist guards, are indicative of a society engaged in wide-ranging trade and possessing a complex social structure. So that's my earliest ancestors, I think, that they're telling me, is the Neolithic ages, the Bell Beakers and these Bronze Age, Anselfingen, Germany. It's 4 and 5 genetic distance. And we've got another one here, the 43 Copper Age, Aalborg. But the early Bronze Age, more Bell Beakers in the early Bronze Age. France, Czech, Northern England, Bell Beaker again, Czech. But the late Bronze Age, so we've got Scotland, late Bronze Age. Bedfordshire, England. And this is the Iron Age. So Bronze Age, Carsington Pasture Cave, Derby, England. Iron Age, Longbredy, Dorset, England. Iron Age, Britain. Celtic Britain. Iron Age, Britain. Celtic Britain. Pre-Roman Britain. Iron Age. Just cool to know that when I go to these sites when I go on my walks, I find these stone circles or mounds or standing stones, and before I used to think that these were done by a people that aren't related, that we kind of conquered, the Scots, because we came over from Ireland. But according to all this, that I was part of the people. So I'm a mixture of everything from the British Isles, I think. We've got the Saxon grave, Lower Saxony, Celtic Frankish grave, Celtic Hinkston, Celtic Britain, the Dark Ages, early medieval Sussex, England, Bishopston, medieval Ireland, Kiltasheen, medieval Ireland, Kiltasheen, Pitt Graveyard, Celto-Germanic Lombard, Pitt Graveyard, medieval age. So the medieval age, the first one is the Prince Arpad dynasty. Viking Celtic boat burial Iceland, Viking age Kosovo, Russia, medieval England to Cambridge, Viking Gaelic mix Iceland. In the early modern period, it doesn't show me anything. Like it's 92 hidden. Upgrade to Zeus. So I have to upgrade to see my early modern period. But like I said, there's plenty to go through once you upgrade. That was by area outlier samples. So these are the most genetically unique among your broader matching samples. So we've got Bronze Age Beaker Bell, got Nordic Lombard, Saxon Grave, Lower Saxony, Hanover, Post-Viking Age Hedby, Schleswig, Rathsmarkt, Southern Jutland. And we've got Frankish Hungary, which match a few of them. And America samples. Currently, you have no ancient America samples. Oh, well. Right. So we're going to the deep dive results. Shows you it's almost like a ancient relatives. You have ancient relatives. You share identified DNA segments. So this is a chromosome bar. These are the chromosomes you share with these ancient peoples that have been discovered. Iron Age Chemin de Coupets, Marne, France. And this was apparently a French prince buried back in the day. So the stuff they found with them. Iron Age Longbredy, Dorset, England. Celtic Britain, Carsington Pasture Cave. Celtic Britain Gladiator, York. Bronze Age Bell Beaker, Czech. Bell Beaker, Canada, Dorset, England. North Central Lombard, Copper Age, Czech. Bronze Age Erith, Cambridgeshire, England. Medieval Toldham, Norway. And like I said, the further you go down, the less. So my DNA is 78% closer than other matching users. But as I go to the top, my DNA is 91% closer than other matching users. So it's pretty interesting. You can check out all your ancient relatives. Deep dive full breakdown. So we've got the full breakdown here. So I'm 47.9% Celt. Danish Viking, 10.3. That's my second highest. And I've got Frank at 10%. Celtic Parisi at 8.71. Celtic Dubani at 8.06. Then we've got Gael, Pict, Briton, Longobard, and some others. They're here. So here it shows you the deep dive breakdown by era. And we have the top is Celts, so that's light green. And next we have the Danish Vikings, which is light blue. And Franks, Celtic Parisi, so it's going anti-clockwise. So we're starting with Celt, Danish, Frank, Celtic Parisi, Celtic Dubani, Celtic Britons, Gaels, Picts, Longbards, Celtic Kintiachi, Visigoths, Balari, Ostrogoths, and Illyrians. This is interesting, this deep dive breakdown by era, because the closer to the picture, the most inner you are, is the earliest. So that's a Neolithic age. So I was a Proto-Celt in a Neolithic age. I was a Proto-Ostrogoth, 5.3%. Proto-Balari, 6.8%. And Proto-Celt, so that's 82. So I was practically a Celt. And the latest stage was on the outside. That's Celt, medieval, 74.8, and Danish Viking. So these two, Danish Viking and medieval Celt, that's my latest breakdown. And we can go in the middle somewhere. Celt, I've got Gael, Celtic Parisi, 25%, Briton, 17%, Pict, 3.9%, Celtic Dubani, 18.3%. So it's interesting, you can go from the earliest in the middle to the latest on the outside. It's another cool thing to look at. But like I said, I take it all with a pinch of salt. Modern populations. So just like Jed Match, this gives you, it must use the same programs, the Eurogenes, because it's practically identical. So at number one, we've got Irish. That's my closest modern population. And the lower the number, like I said, the lower the number beside the population, the closer you are to it. So we've got 5.8 Irish. Then we've got Southeast English, which is Southwest English, which is interesting. That's maybe the Brythonic genes. The West Scottish, North German, Orcadian, which is Orkney, North Dutch, and then the Danish as well at number 8. I didn't realise I had such a high Scandinavian genetics. Anyway, then we've got the admixtures. So here we go, Eurogenes K15 results. So this is a bit like the Jed Match that we've seen earlier, guys. So North Sea, 33%, Atlantic, 30%, the Baltic, this is where I must get my Danish stuff, Eastern European, West Mediterranean, West Asian, this is where my Andras Arpad, this whole Caucasian area, the Caucasus, West Asia, like Georgia, these kind of places. So that's pretty cool. So the Eurogenes, it must use the same program as Jed Match, shows you here. North Sea 34, Atlantic 30, Baltic 10, Eastern European 6.3, Western Mediterranean 8.1, West Asian 7.9, East Mediterranean 0.3, Red Sea 0, South Asian 1.1, Southeast Asian 0, Siberian 0, Amerindian 0, Oceanian 0.5, Northeast African 0, Sub-Saharan 0.7. So there's a wee bit African in there, which makes sense if they all came from that area of the world at one point. This is the MDLP World 22 results, which is another program you can choose on Jed Match. You can find out these exact results on Jed Match as well. So it's got Atlantic Mediterranean Neolithic 33%. Northeast European 46%, Indo-Iranian. So this is the Arpad. This must be the Arpad or Samodic, which I don't even know what that is. Samodic is. North European Mesolithic, West Asian 10.7, Melanesian 0.4, Near East 1.3, Sub-Saharan 0.4, South African 0.2, and Northeast European 46. So like I said, I think all these West Asian ones, these Caucasus ones are from that Arpad. So that's kind of it from that section. Don't worry, guys, we've got plenty more. So we've got saga videos. We've got, see, maps, ancestral globe. So this shows you there's the Arpad down there. And you can go all through the different periods. So we've got up here in the top left, we've got Neolithic times, South Britain. You see I've matched up here with Cheddar Man. Bronze Age, we're getting a wee bit further afield. Late Bronze Age. Some of them are hidden because you need to upgrade. Iron Age. Early Medieval. So we've got the north of Scotland, we've got Ireland, we've got south of England. We've got parts of France, Germany. We've also got over here, Eastern European. Medieval, so we've got the Arpad. You see the shield. We've got all periods. So that's pretty cool. You can look at the maps at the ancestral globe. Select historical map. All right, don't think I've looked at this one. Right, there's an old map of Britain. And it shows you the... That's pretty cool. Right. Drop time-lapse, your European ancestral time-lapse map. I don't think I've even seen this. Doesn't seem to be anything there. Anyway. Right. There's a couple of other things we can look at here. Haplogroups, analytics. So we can have a look at the old haplogroup analytics. So this is a Y DNA breakdown, and guys, your Y DNA comes from your dad. It comes through the male line. Your mum, she gives you your mtDNA, but doesn't give you your Y DNA. You get your Y DNA and your mtDNA from your dad. Both sets come to you from your dad, but from your mother's side, you only get the mtDNA. So, what are we here, guys? We're 74.4% R1b. We're 6.4 I1. We're 6.4 I2. We're 4.8 Ji. We're 4 R1A. And we're 4G. So a female inherits an mtDNA haplogroup from their mother, whereas a male inherits both mtDNA and haplogroup and Y chromosome haplogroup. Depending on the quality of each ancient sample, we can determine one or both. A mtDNA haplogroup specifies that all the female lineage of any sample, whereas the Y DNA haplogroup determines all the male lineage. For all the ancient samples we have which match your kit. We have collected the mtDNA and Y-DNA haplogroups and combined them into a chart. This chart is a personalized estimation of your haplogroup ancestry. Example, your ancient ancestors collectively may have the haplogroups distributed as shown. The highlighted number is a percentage of the total haplogroup set. The haplogroups could be those of your distant cousins, which are not necessarily aligned with all the male-female lineage of your own haplogroups. So, clip on, these are all hidden, but you can get a rough idea. And here's a distribution. So you can see here it's mostly R1b. And royal haplogroup. So the Y-DNA, this is a royal haplogroup. And here it connects me all these clans, royal families. And have a look at the R1A. There's another royal haplogroup. So we've got the Ritter Husset Hellensterna, Clan MacDonald, House of Newton, Clan Swinton, Clan Home, Clan MacDougall, and Scottish royalty. R1b. So you can see here we've got the Kingdom of Man, Clan Carmichael, House of Arsenault, Clan MacNeil, Clan Henderson, Clan Boswell, Clan Macaulay, Clan Jordan. Got here the English royalty. Got Clan Wallace, Clan Pringle, Clan Trotter. So it practically connects me to hundreds of clans. It's R1b. English royalty again, Scottish royalty, Clan Calder. We've got Belgian royalty over here, the House of Hesse, Clan Baxter. So there's absolutely too many to go through, to be honest with you. So this is Danish, Gaelic, Viking, Iceland. So what Clan Hodnet? The Viking Age Gotland, Sweden. What clan's that? House of Cecil. Celtic Britain, Poglington. House of Lip, Detmold. Clan Armstrong. Here's another Celt, Hingston, Iron Age. So we've got all the, look, we've got the House of Normandy as well. So we've not only got the House English royalty, Scottish royalty, we've got the House of Normandy. You can see again, English royalty, Scottish royalty, all these royal houses and clans I'm connected to. That's crazy. Okay, let's see what is this G? Some G. A relic, French King Louis the 16th. So Richard III. That G haplogroup. See the I1. So we've got North Central Lombard. That's for the Danish. Was it Danish? For I1. So we've got the North, post-Viking era Greenland, Western settlement. And this one here is I2. So there's the Cheddar Man, the Bell Beaker for I2. Let's have a look at Jai. So we've got the Scottish royalty for Jai, R1A. So it looks like I've got the haplogroups of the royals.
Pretty cool.